Be strong.
Every season, the Velocity Online Racing League brings a race to Indianapolis and the Speedway on the corner of 16th and Georgetown. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, of course, where we've seen IndyCar racing since 1911 when Ray Haroon went to victory lane for that first time. Tonight, though, that is where we sit for race number 8, the penultimate round of this of season 4 of the Velocity Online Racing Series. We welcome you in to the C-Squared Racing Indy 300 at the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway here on iRacing, the 2.5-mile track. 78 degrees, 119 down on the track. Going to be a warm one this evening as we get ready for 120 laps around the world's spectacle. Of course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Going to be a lot of fun here tonight as we welcome you in. I am the captain, Chris Scallo. Appreciate those tuning in. Of course, as I've been kind of saying this week on multiple streams, I'm not quite 100% after having wisdom teeth pulled on Tuesday, but I have fighting through. Of course, did some broadcast earlier this week. Ran a 6-hour race with Drift. Hello, by the way. Last night, and here I am today. Mouth's still sore. Just tried to actually eat something solid, and my mouth's kind of in pain, but we'll be all right. I ain't gonna let that stop me from putting on this great broadcast for you great listeners and all, obviously, these racers that are out there qualifying right now for the race. Let's take a look at, of course, the track information for tonight in this C-Squared Racing Indianapolis 300, a 2.5-mile, well, I was about to call it an oval, rectangle we'll call it. Of course, 120 laps, 300 miles. Last season's winner, Alex Van de Sant. He's looking to go 2 in a row coming up here this evening around this 4-turn track. All 4 turns, 90 degrees when it comes to symmetrical, but they all race different. That's what makes this speedway very, very interesting. So you see the pit entrance over here where the yellow lines are, and of course pit exit all the way up at turn 2. You use the warm-up lanes all the way over there. And that is going to be an interesting setup for the race. Of course, they do it in real life, and we'll see if it affects anybody here this evening. Let's recap the season, of course, by checking out the point standings where we are right now. It is Gavin Sanders leading this series by 11 over Isaac Morris. The thing is, Gavin actually is still not won a race yet. So he is actually leading this series by 11. Going into tonight, Alex Van de Sant there, 3rd. Shane Coogan, Nicholas Sudik, your top 5. You see Dakota DeMay, Cohen and Evans, Matt Houston, Thomas Geisler, AJ Musselman, your top 10 as we enter the driver standings as of right now. Team standings, that belongs to VOR right now. Of course, Gary Godso, Gavin Sanders, Oscar Frederickson, and Julian Altsina with a 41-point lead over Race First with Sunset Arctic Games. LMC Gear there in 3rd, turn 4, and 5150 in the 5th position as they enter, again, this race this evening. And finally, let's take a look at the schedule. 2 races left. Of course, tonight, Indianapolis, and then next week, Las Vegas Motor Speedway for 400 kilometers around the mile-and-a-half speedway, which should produce some pretty fun racing here when it is all said and done. As I mentioned, qualifying going on right now for these cars. We're going to see who is going to win the Circle B Racing Pole Award. So let's jump down to the track, and let's see where we're looking right now. It appears to be Isaac Morris on the pole for the race. As of right now, we'll see if that is finalized. Looks like everybody has pretty much ran laps except for Gary Godso. And that is where we sit right now in qualifying. Only 19 cars, unfortunately, here tonight, so a little bit of a smaller grid for Indianapolis, but still going to bring on some great racing when it is all said and done. But Isaac Morse, Dakota DeMay, of course, Nicholas Sudik, Alex Van de Sant, Julian Altena look like going to be the top 5 as we see Isaac sitting here on the grid. I think he's waiting to see if anybody else is going to go out in here and qualify and potentially jump him for the pole. But right now that doesn't look like the case. And we shall see as we're about to wrap up qualifying here in just a moment. So just taking a look here at the time to see if we're going to expire. Looks like we are. So we're going to grid up for 120 laps and 300 miles of racing, and that'll give Alex Van de Sant the pole award for this C-squared Indy 300, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the race, and there it is. Isaac with the pole by 14 100ths of a second over Dakota DeMay. You'll have Nicholas Sadiq in third alongside last season's winner, of course, Alex Van de Sant. Julian Altena and Bernie Sanders, or Gavin, as we know him as. He wants to be called Bernie. Sure. In sixth, seventh, Shane Coogan alongside him, A.J. Musselman. Oscar Frederickson, he'll start alongside Matt Houston. Ty Richter and Antonio Estrada going to start in row number 6. Row number 7, we shall see Thomas Geisler and James Watson, the Ohio driver. They're in the outside of row number 7. Row 8, Jose Phillips. And a name that I've had to practice a little bit here, and I believe I've got it right. It's Pushastaya Pravda, I believe is how that's pronounced, in the 46 car, starting in the 16th position. Christian Allegio and Bart Firestein in the 18th position, and Gary Gonzo will start there on the in the 19th position, I should say, as we get ready to take the green flag. The cars have not rolled out yet, and they should roll off here in just a minute. But as I mentioned, Isaac Morris, the winner of the Circle B Diecast.com Pole Award. If you use Foxworth Autosport, you'll get free shipping on orders over $20 at CircleBDiecast.com to get great NASCAR to IndyCar diecast. Of course, they ship to the continental U.S. and Canada. So there you go. Make sure you check that out and type in the keyword Foxworth Autosport to get free shipping on orders over $20. So congratulations to Isaac on the pole. Isaac, of course, the last time he was on this track, actually won the race here. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. You go back to Pocono 2 weeks ago. Isaac Morris actually is going to get EOL here. So, believe it or not, he is going to go to the back and start the back. Also, Concha and Joseph Grijalva, I believe, have EOLs, but I'm not sure if the other two are in the race. But I know at least Isaac is. And it looks like Matt Houston actually missed the start, but there's Isaac pulling down, so that's going to allow Alex Van de Sant, actually, correction, it's going to allow Nicholas Sudik to pull up there and start first. All right, through the north section of the Speedway. So as Isaac Boris goes to the back, again, he won the Circle B Diecast.com Pole Awards. Congratulations to him on winning that. But the rest of these cars about to come to the green flag here for 120 laps and 300 miles of racing at the Brickyard. For the fourth time in the series history, the Brickyard is the host of this year, the Circle or the C Squared Racing 300 from Indianapolis as we go racing. Sadiq with a good jump to the inside. Down into turn one, single file already to front 5 or 6 as they come to turn 2. And one car's wrecked up in turn 1. We got trouble turn 1. And caution's going to come out already. It is the 46 making the debut tonight. Pushastaya Pravda, unfortunately, in the wall and going to pit road already. Not the way you want to start and make your debut in this series. For the 46, let's see what happens here at the start of this race. Goes up and just lost control there. Got down in the grass. Something happened there. And just goes straight up into the wall. And our first caution out. Let's look at this again. This just something looked wrong there. There's the 46, that yellow, blue, and white car. Well, it looks like the back end maybe comes around. I wonder if the 46 had maybe too much weight jacker in the car. I've had that happen before, where you go into the corner with too much weight jacker, the back end just comes around. Let's look one more time. Interesting how it says night in the car. Pravda. Oh yeah, right there. Back end comes around and overcorrects. Oh. That's exactly what happened. Unfortunate deal there. So the 46 off the track. Matt Houston, this is going to be a lucky break for him. I believe he is going to stay on the lead lap here. There's Matt coming off of into turn 3, I should say. Hello to Jason Clark watching on the stream. Appreciate you. Oh, a game glitch, apparently. Let's see, it just looks kind of interesting how that went. I just saw the back end swing around. It's like I've had it happen at, I believe, this track where I'll have the weight jacker up way too much, enter the corner, and the thing just snaps around, and it's like, whoa. That's what that kind of looked like, but unfortunately, if that's a game glitch, a bummer there. But first caution out here at Indianapolis. I'm actually going to go black screen for just a quick second. I'll be right back. I don't have any kind of music or anything to play in this situation. I figured while we had a quick caution, I could fix the issue I'm having. Just a small little hiccup. You're not missing anything. Cars are under caution still. And voila, there we go. So it has been a wild season so far of racing here in the Velocity Online Racing Series. Of course, the awesome part is if you're a person on the Discord page, you can actually, a member of Discord, you can actually go check out the races in review, kind of like what IndyCar does, where they do the little 30-minute highlights of the race and stuff like that. Julian Altina puts the work together and gets all those done. And you can check out all the Season 4 highlights of what has happened so far this season. From Cohen Evans winning the opening race at Homestead Miami Speedway. You had that take place. You also had just so many great things. Actually looking at the notes myself to remember kind of what has taken place so far this season. When you get a couple weeks off and stuff, you just got to kind of do some thinking and whatnot. But, of course, Texas Motor Speedway, Alex Van de Sant leading 115 laps in that wild race and scoring a win in that one. Shane Coogan leading the most laps in a dominant effort at Phoenix earlier this season. And actually Isaac Morris stealing that win. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the points position. I'm sorry. That was not Isaac Morris that won the race. That was Julian Altina that stole that win. Apologies to both there involved in that. Of course, we had 2 road courses on the season. One was Barber Motorsports Park. And Isaac Morris leading all 50 laps in that race. But so many great races so far this season. I'm actually going to verify that. I might have gotten that wrong, too, as I saw 2 leaders. Cohen Evans led laps in that race, too, but Alex obviously dominating that race. And, of course, all the way back to last week at Pocono Raceway, where Alex Van de Sant led the most laps in that race and saw a wild finish when it was all over with. As Nicholas Sudik leads them back to the green flag here in Indianapolis. The C-Squared Racing 300. Of course, tonight we do have our TrackCams22.com cameras with you of TrackCam 4 Gourmets. You can check them out again, TrackCams22.com, which are basically live cameras and what look like realistic cameras. If you remember the 500 a few weeks ago, as you see Dakota DeMay jump out of line, he'll take the lead here. Working the draft with Sudik, but you'll see the cameras look pretty real compared to what we saw just a couple weeks ago in the greatest spectacle in racing. Of course, I like to call this the greatest spectacle in e-racing. Sudik back to the lead there, working with Dakota right now. Alex Van de Sant just kind of hovering there in the 3rd position. And one other cool thing I should mention too, as we're talking about the past races, you can actually check out now a library of all races that we broadcast here on Captain TV. They are now in respective I guess folders, for a lack of a better term right now, to a playlist basically. Each league has its own playlist now. So you can go check out the VOR playlist to all the races we broadcasted here in Season 4 right there in order. You can watch them right there from race 1 to race 8. Julian Altina there in that 4th position. He has had a struggling season so far outside of that win that he got at Phoenix Raceway. Julian has had his struggles. A couple early incidents and so on and so forth. Here's Julian right now in the 4th position. Back here, Thomas Geisler trying to work his way up. Ty Richter there in that 33 car. Thomas almost had the run there, but Ty was able to carry the momentum off the high side. As Dakota switches back with Sudik as they try to get away here from the front 4. But right now, the tire wear running pretty normal, so you're able to run the draft right now until the handling comes into play. You see Shane Coogan back there in 5th. Gavin Sanders, or Bernie, as we're calling him now, running into 6th position there as we're 8 laps in. A long race here, 300 miles. Of course, also part of the Triple Crown. You see Julian making a move outside of Alex. He's not playing games tonight. Gets a little high there, but comes off the corner looking pretty good there in the P3. Alex is going to get a pretty good draft, though, down the back straightaways. You see Dakota holding on there at P2 right now, but Coogan fastest lap, 41.25 right now in this race. But Julian kind of working a high line in a little bit here. As Dakota pokes out, he'll take the lead back. So, of course, you can go about 30 or so laps on a tank of fuel if you go green flag all the way. Of course, there was that caution right at lap 1. Gary Godso came to pit road, so did Matt Houston. So they might have a couple extra laps of fuel to work with here in this race. And you see Dakota and Nicholas Sudik continue to do the old switcheroo, trying to work the draft and get away from the others. But still trying to watch Thomas Geisler here, trying to work his way up on Ty Richter. Seems like they get close down the straightaway, and then it kind of falls apart a little bit. I don't know if that's part of the Yarrow, of course. There's Shane Coogan in the 29 car. Roll out of the throttle just a little bit there. Able to keep it there 5th gear pretty much, which is good. He's got a good handling car right now as he works the jacker and the bars. As you see to the outside, Gavin Sanders going to make a move on Coogan. Ooh, he almost got the wall there a little bit. Got to be careful. And Antonio Estrada with issues. I believe, or maybe he just blinked out. Never mind. He fell down my telemetry really quickly. I thought something might be wrong. Of course, all part of the fun with the cameras, thanks to, again, our good friends at TrackCams22.com. We got drones all over this place, too. Kind of gives you a different view of watching the racing here around Indianapolis. To the north side of the track there, you see the 10 car kind of moving up a little bit there, turn 3. Not sure if he just missed a corner or did that purposely. But down the front straightaway towards the pagoda. So there you see Sadiq up there in the lead as Dakota tries to hold off Julian Alternate. Here he comes to the inside. That 31 is definitely moving this evening, but there's that high side. Again, we've started to see that more in these Indy cars, especially with the patch that came out a few months back, which added on almost the dynamic track back into iRacing. Now you're starting to see these second grooves come in on some of these tracks, and now look at this crossover move as now Julian goes up to second through the high side. Something you don't normally see in Indianapolis. So Dakota's starting to fall back a little bit. There's Alex Van der Zandt poking out. Not able to make the move there. So one thing I will go ahead and throw out there really quickly, for those obviously who don't know who I am or whatever, I'm actually over in the northeast end of Georgia, and of course the tropical system that's coming from the Gulf of Mexico, well, yeah, it's starting to kind of hit here with rain and stuff like that, potential thunderstorms and things, so I'm just giving you a fair warning that, I mean, 99% of the time it doesn't happen, but there's always that 1%. That things could happen. So just FYI. But usually everything cooperates with me, and hopefully that'll get us through this evening. Some fun racing here so far as Altena leads that lap. Here comes Sadiq back to the inside and switching the lead. And the reason why they do this, they try to break the draft of the car behind them and pull away. Almost like a Mario Kart type of style of drafting. If you go back to the old Mario Kart 64, you always had to do this. You had to kind of draft off another car and pass, and then let them pass you to pull away. Dakota DeMay the fastest lap that last time by, a 41.21. So still running fast times here. Tires not really falling off so far. 18 laps in. But obviously got to be very careful. That's, of course, why you got to play with the bars and, of course, the weight jacker and things like that as we look at A.J. Musselman. A.J. doing a good job there in the 7th position. The AJM Consulting car. Very cool looking livery there. Of course, got the 12 of Oscar Frederickson there behind him. Antonio Estrada and the 74 behind him. Back to the front, the 3-car lead draft now becoming a 4th car as Alex Van der Zandt joins. Of course, Alex, the Purdue graduate, I believe. I know he went to Purdue, or still is. Sorry, Alex, I don't remember quite. Okay, look at this. Now becoming a 5th car joining the picture here is Bernie Sanders or Gavin joining this 5-car train. You see him through the north section of the track. Past what I know over there to the right, the Miller Lite Party Deck. I've watched a couple 500s from there. And if you were to buy the fan cam package that you can get on, of course, the Track Cam 4 Gourmet, this would be somewhat of what you'd see. As you look like you're a fan at the track as you watch up here from the turn 3 section. As Gavin looks at that outside of Alex. Gets a little high in the corner, had to get out of it. And if you sat over here, maybe on the front straightaway. Down at the, what is this, about the, 12th row, I would say? Watch for pit road. So Sadiq showing his strength this evening in that 87 car, looking to potentially get his first career series win. As Alex Van der Zandt going to the 3rd position past the 82. So far, some great racing here in the first 23 laps. Only the one caution so far in this race. The question, will we see green flag pit stops here? The kind of surprise right now in this race, I have to go back to the 17th position. And this is Matt Houston. Matt is a Indianapolis winner. And he's won, obviously, at this track in another league. And definitely has shown that he can get it done around here. I'm not sure if he's struggling or if he's maybe saving fuel back here or what he's doing. And it could be a strategy play on his end also, but we'll have to keep an eye on him. Right now, he's back in 17th, 10 seconds off the pace. Of course, if you're watching on the stream, we appreciate you tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, we appreciate you coming back and watching this evening. We actually have a double header of racing starting here at Indianapolis, and then next we'll be at the Iowa Speedway in the Sunset Arctic Games Grand National Series. And the second to last race there for, of course, USRC for the Grand National Series, and we'll crown a champion likely, if not tonight, next week. So now the car is starting to spread out a little bit here. As you see, Sudik has got himself 3/10 on Julian Altonen. Alex Van de Sande about a second back now. So this is about the point. 25 laps in. Handling now starting to play a role. These tires wearing out. When will you see these cars come to pit road? Of course, 120 laps and you go 30. It's a four-stopper if you can get to 40 somehow, which I don't think is going to happen unless you get some yellow. That would make it a three-stop race. Otherwise, I think you're going to see a four-stopper for everybody. And right off the bat, A.J. Musselman coming to pit road. So he's the first one to partake. I promise you, he's behind the pylon there. Now, obviously, if you're close enough to the leader, you can get out of pit road before the leaders get here. As you see there in turn 3 right now, tires and fuel going on. Should be about an 8-second stop or so. 8.5 for Musselman. There he goes as the leaders come off turn 4 right now. He'll use the whole entire warm-up lane. It's actually going to be a lot closer than I thought as they go into turn 1. Here they come right here. There's Musselman coming through turn 2. And there's the leader, so he should be okay. It's going to be close. But of course, he'll have the clean air and the fresh tires and should be able to stretch it out a little bit here. So this field getting pretty spread out now. Oh, one car almost got the wall there off turn 4. That was back near James Watson. Is that Isaac? No, it was not Isaac. It was actually Jose Miguel Phillips Viguera, who's side by side and gets hit by Gary Godso into the wall. I'm not sure if Jose didn't know somebody was on his inside or look out. And that does not bring the caution out. He's way off the track here, so he's going to clear and come to pit road. But let's see what happens here to the 23. Gary was there. Let's look at this very slowly. Gary's got the inside. And he just hip checks him. Bam, into the wall hard. So unfortunate deal there for Jose, who had just had trouble almost coming off turn 4 there. So tires, let's talk about those real quickly. A.J. Musselman by himself, a 41.39. last time by, he was the fastest car in the clean air, I should say. As here comes Sadiq, of course, the guy who's led the most laps so far. He's had the clean air the most, so because of that, he has to burn more fuel. Here he comes to pit road. The Taco Bell, number 87. He might have drift. That might be a good call, too. '87 of Sadiq on pit road. Here he goes. He rolls out a 9.3. Of course, you see the wounded car of Vigera back there on pit road. That hands the lead to Julian Altena. Here comes Alex Van de Sant to pit road. Last season's winner. In the world famous Tom Hoover chili mix. Something you can actually purchase on Amazon and have it sent to your house. It's something I need to do. I've heard so many great things, and I remember the exact thing. If you add, all you have to do is add water, meat, in, is it sauce? I'm trying to remember the whole quote, but you just add like 3 ingredients to it, and bada bing, you got the chili right there for you. But that's Alex Van de Sant leaving pit road. Here comes the video game designer Dakota DeMed, who I got to send a little shout out to. Last week was a road race on the USRC side. Of course, after they were actually off last week. He and Matt Houston came over to the stock car side and ran that road race that we broadcasted here on Captain TV, and came home with a top 3 finish. Dakota did. So here he's back over here now on the more comfortable side of his racing and on pit road from the top 3 right now. And there goes Dakota right now, 9.9 second stop. Also on pit road is Christian Alejo. And now here come the leaders. Altena, Sanders, Estrada. A lot of green flag pit stops now. James Watson back there in the 39 coming in. Ty Richter. You see all the pit stops down at the bottom. At least the top 4 positions wise. That's where you see the pit stops down at the bottom from. If you're new to iRacing viewing, you will not see the pit crews, unfortunately, go to work unless I am actually in the race or something like that. And yes, you do see some interesting costumes for some of the drivers. So Julian and Gavin get out there together. As you now you see some more drivers to pit road here. Shane Coogan, Oscar Frederickson, Thomas Geisler, Isaac Morris. Here you see Isaac to pit road. And of course, he had that EOL, as I mentioned, to start of the race after the incident at Pocono last week. And there you see to the left, that is Sadiq getting past Alex Van de Sant. I always pull that one off. Sorry, both. I don't know how I'm ever going to get that one correct if I can't get it right, what, a year later? There you see Coogan trying to get up to speed through the warm-up lane. Kind of try to join in. Got to be very careful. Of course, you have other cars trying to merge in with you. As you look back here, nobody there behind them. A little blip of the throttle as he tries to get his tires up to temp. And now Gary Godso on pit road. And of course, Gary actually celebrating his 25th start in the series tonight. Gary running a special livery to pay honor to that. Gary, very knowledgeable IndyCar guy. Of course, he has helped me out a ton when it comes to IndyCar broadcasting. He has gave me a whole bunch of knowledge and makes me look about 10% smarter. That's only because 10% is my max. Matt Houston leading right now as he comes to pit road. So that's going to cycle everybody back around. As there you see Alex Van de Sant to the lead now past Sadiq. They've got a pretty good lead of 2.5 seconds or so over Julian Alton and Gavin Sanders, as this field will start to spread out now with the green flag run going on. Go back here as this fight is on now for the 5th position. Musselman trying to hold off Dakota DeMay. And also Shane Coogan is here. Do you see right behind him the 12 of Oscar Frederickson? Now, if these guys draft up to these other 2 cars, you could see them work their way back up to the leaders. Well, Coogan trying to go 2 for 1 here. So if you're one, as I mentioned, watching this for the first time tonight and you want to see what this league is all about, maybe interested in some IndyCar racing on a Saturday night, of course, they are already prepared for season number 5. And that'll be coming up here very soon. Of course, wrapping up season 4 next week at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Season 5 schedule looks like this. Auto Club Speedway will start it out at the end of July. They'll go August. They'll see Iowa Speedway, Road America. And you'll notice the schedule, 3 more races added to it. Road America, Pocono Raceway, of course, Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, the Indianapolis Road Course, followed by, of course, the seasonal race there in October, of course, at Indianapolis, the Milwaukee Mile, Watkins Glen, Texas Motor Speedway, and then the interesting wild card here, Daytona International Speedway, and that is not the road course, that is the oval that they're going to run there, and in Chicagoland to finish out the schedule. That is in December. 12 race schedule coming up next season, season number 5. So we are a third distance into this C-Squared Racing 300. These two continue to play swap the lead each and every lap. Let's check back here on our pole sitter. There is Isaac Morris in the number 1 car. Of course, he wears the number 1 because he won the championship last season. Isaac in the 10th position, about 6 seconds back. Obviously has the speed and what it takes to get to victory lane, but he unfortunately has to still pass the other half of the field to have a shot to get there. You see right behind them a battle going on here. That is the lap car is in there of Jose Miguel Phillips Figuera and also Antonio Estrada, and then you got that blue car. That is Ty Richter. See Ty going by the lap car. Of course, Phillips Figuera, as I mentioned, he was involved in the incident with Gary Godso a few minutes ago. No caution came out from it. He was able to get damage fixed. And I don't know if he got a new car or not, but he is back on track. Can't remember if they have exactly resets or not. But all of a sudden, you notice this pack is going to start to get maybe a little bit bigger as I'm watching lap times here. Yeah, look at this line that is starting to come towards the lead too. Now, the interesting thing I'm watching, and this brings up a very good point, Julian running about a groove up right now. And because of that, it's actually keeping him in clean air. So you might be able to hold this thing wide open. Let's watch here with Lane. Yeah, he gets her up here, flipping the throttle a little bit, but he's still got some clean air coming on that nose a little bit instead of being in that turbulent air when you're directly behind a car. the back straightaway. So many cool features about this track. Of course, they got the Indianapolis road course that's on the schedule for next season. I assume they're going to be coming with an update very near future of this track, because they actually still have the old road course that they ran until IndyCar started going there a couple years back. That does not have the chicane, if you remember the road race there. There's a chicane now that goes back onto the back straightaway of the road course, but it used to be more of a 90-degree and hairpin corners in the infield. So that likely is going to be redone, I would assume, before the NASCAR race there later this season. Of course, now it has a dirt track on the inside. There was actually photos on social media of Jeff Gordon running in the midget car a couple days ago, if not yesterday, at the Speedway. Got the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course that sits behind the track. Matter of fact, 3 of the holes are actually in the middle of the track in the infield. Here you see part of the course right there to your left, behind that building. We sit about 10 minutes or so from Indianapolis, Indiana, the Circle City as it's known as. A really cool show that I don't know if they show it down or around nationwide, but a show that I really got keen of watching when I lived in the Indiana area for a few years was a show called the Naptown Radio Wars. If you're from Indianapolis or know anybody in that area, it might be something you've heard about. Basically, back in the 1960s and 1970s, it was the old battle of radio stations in Indianapolis. And they talk about the history of it. I got to learn a lot about it. I wasn't exactly in Indianapolis, but being in Lafayette and Kokomo for a couple of years before moving to Georgia, where I'm at now, and learning from some of the great voices in Indiana. And to hear those great stories, that is a really cool thing to watch. And I don't know if you ever get a chance, maybe you can find it on YouTube potentially or something if you don't get a chance to watch it. But if you're especially from Indiana and you know about those old radio wars from the 60s and 70s, go check it out. Really cool story. Of course, DJs off the top of my head, I'm thinking about old Buster Bodine. I talked to him on there. Of course, the guy I actually got to work with was in the video a little bit, a gentleman named Russ Dodge, who he was a part of those wars back in the day and stuff like that, and some really cool stuff, so make sure you check that out, especially if you're a radio guy like me that spent some time up there doing radio in Indiana. Alex Van de Sant continuing to lead Sadiq by about 2/10. They were still swamping out the lead a lot. Sadiq starting to draft back up on him. They got about 2.5 seconds on the VOR teammates here, Sanders and Altena. And there you see Shane Coogan getting a little loose there. Had to play with the wheel a little bit there. And then they got about a second or so back to there's Dakota DeMay, AJ Musselman, Oscar Frederickson. Back here in the 7th, 8th, and 9th position. Want to mention also that, of course, this Velocity Online Racing Series, all thanks to Raceverse. If you get a chance, you're looking for somebody to do some open wheel or maybe some road racing broadcast, Raceverse actually does that. As a matter of fact, my Monday night partner, Gary Godso, does some broadcasting himself. Matt Houston, those guys. And, of course, it's my pleasure to talk about them a little bit. I know some people are like, well, why are you promoting another channel? Well, because we're all buddies and know each other and stuff, and I have no problem with that kind of thing. So if you get a chance, give them a subscribe over there at Raceverse and check out one of their broadcasts. I do it. I mean, when I'm, either on break at work or if I'm here without a broadcast or something going on that night, maybe tomorrow night or something if they're on, I'll check them out. There's your lead tandem, as we're going to call them. go back here to the 8th position, 7th position, A.J. Musselman, Oscar Frederickson there in that 12 car. Private Oscar. A little tight there, had to kind of roll the throttle a little bit. As I talked about, all 4 corners of this track drive so different. Yeah, let's look at turn 3 here. You go into the corner. All these corners, 90 degrees, but look how this one looks kind of the same, but drives nothing like it. Here in the 11th position, Antonio Estrada, another one of the 5150 cars. The difference between 5150 and VOR is the liveries. If you look at the blue car, like Oscar Frederickson, who's the 4th car just coming out of your screen now, the blue, that is VOR. The 5150 guys in red. Yeah, Joel, I hate to see you tonight here tonight, buddy. Hope everything's well, and all the best, of course, if you get back next week and in the future. Of course, your son has been a viewer watching at times and cheering you on and helping you out. So, but appreciate you stopping by and watching. Cheering on Mr. Alagio up there in the 15th position right now. Alex trying to get a little bit of clean air on that 17 car. As we're roughly 25 laps into this run here. So we're going to see more more pit stops. I would say in the next 5 laps or so. When you look at Sadiq, he came in right at lap 30. So if you do 30, that's 60. Of course, Van de Sand at 31. As we bring up the pit strategy board here, it tells you exactly what everybody came into pit road. I'll swap it over to pit lap. There you go. So 30, 31, 33, 34 for Coogan, 34 for Frederickson. Oh, very cool. Well, good for you, man. Good to see you at least doing something racing-wise. I have to look at where Grattan Raceway is, but that's cool to see, man. Looks like it's in Western Michigan. I'm looking it up right now. You don't even have to answer the question for me. Looks like it's a SCCA track. Have I seen this right? Apparently here I'm actually seeing, looks like an article that came out back in 2017 that showed Paul Newman once tested at that track, and also former NFL great Walter Payton tested at that track. So that's a pretty cool deal. But best of luck there tonight. Enjoy your racing there. Takes a lot to be a race steward. As A.J. Musselman, he was the first one to pit road last round, and here he is back in, lap number 58. Tires and fuel for the 54. And a 10-second stop, a little bit slower on the 54 this time around. as he will pull away. And here come the leaders. This time I don't think he's going to be so lucky, as they are at full song right now as they come off turn 2. And there he goes, a lap down. So he needs this thing to stay green now. What part of Michigan is that? I didn't see a town or anything on there. It just said Western. The only thing I could think of Western, I think of like, oh gosh, what's over there? Sorry, I'm losing my head here for a second. As the leader comes to pit road, and here comes a couple of the VOR cars. Bernie Sanders, Julian Altina. For some reason I've gone blank on town names over there now. I think of Dwozniak, that's where my aunt lives up there in Michigan, right just north of South Bend, Indiana. As we are right at the halfway point, lap 60. Great stop for Sanders, 8.8. 8.4 for Julian, 9.6 for Sudik. Grand Rapids, okay. I remember that name. Of course, I think of like on the eastern side, you get Ypsilanti, of course, where eastern Michigan is. You got, of course, Lansing and East Lansing. Of course, Detroit. And not sure if there's a college you prefer, but I'll be careful what names I mention. More pit stops being called out, and here comes Alex Van de Sant, the leader, coming in. Now, of course, this is the IndyCar oval setup. You'll notice that pit road here is actually further in on pit road, and I believe it's a faster speed limit of 60 miles an hour. And here they all come as Alex Van de Sant, Isaac Morris, Oscar Frederickson, all on pit road. Now Isaac overshooting his pit stall just a wee bit. That's going to hurt him. As Van de Sant out with a 9.7. Frederickson a 9 flat. Isaac Morris a 9 flat, but unfortunately going to lose a little bit of time because of the overshoot of pit road. That hands the lead to Shane Coogan into 29. We'll keep track of him as Dakota DeMay comes to pit road. Sunset Arctic Games crew. More tires, fuel, and there he pulls away. And now Shane Coogan, you'll see him down pit road. A red and black car all the way up there at the top. Second car in now. Estrada, Matt Houston on pit road now. And you'll see off turn 4 right now, there is Alex Van de Sant. He's got a pretty good sized lead on Nicholas Sadiq right now. Obviously, Coogan not going to have the lead here as they are going to pass strong, but as you see, everybody now really getting spread out. As Thomas Geisler going to come to pit road. Geisler and also Ty Richter there in the second position, the 33 car. And right behind him, Gary Godso coming in. So that leaves James Watson, the one car not to be the pit road yet in this run. And right on cue, there's Watson coming to pit road. So everybody should cycle back to the front now. And it will be Alex Van de Sant who's looking for his second C-Squared Racing 300 victory. And there he is, 0.7 of a second over Nicholas Sudik. Alex, a very smart racer, very smart young man, as a matter of fact. Definitely knows how to get around this speedway here on iRacing, as he has already won twice since we've started broadcasting in the IndyCar leagues. You see Sudik starting to work the draft a little bit here. And tell you what, who this pit stop really worked out for was these two behind him. Bernie Sanders, or Gavin, and Julian Altina, third and fourth. These two were about 2.5 seconds back from these other two when the pit stop started, and now they're within a second. So great pit stops by those two guys getting in and out of the pits. And now with the draft, this could become a 4-car battle now for the lead, as we're seeing what, about one pit stop probably left here in the next 27 laps or so. So we got these four guys all within about a second of each other. Then you got Oscar Frederickson behind Shane Coogan there in 5th and 6th. Then 7th, 8th, you got Dakota DeMay and Isaac Morris. Isaac still trying to battle his way through the field. And then behind him, you got a couple of cars working for position here. AJ Musselman, Thomas Geisler. And back here in 11th and 12th, there is Antonio Estrada. And then probably the more shocking of this race so far is Matt Houston here in the 12th position. Now, of course, there could be a lot of factors working right now against Matt, or something that I don't even know about. So, and Matt not having the best of nights right now. Ty Richter there behind him in 13th. And then back here on his own island, Gary Godso in the 14th spot. I know Gary's giving it his all every week to try to win this race. I know when we're up here in the booth, we talk off the air and stuff when we're getting ready for the other league on Monday nights, and we're like, we'll be talking, and he's like, man, I can't wait for Indianapolis, or I can't wait for any oval, basically, Michigan. I can't wait for Auto Club. Can't wait for Pocono. Yeah, he's definitely excited each and every week. I'm sure right now he is, the only thing he's excited for right now is maybe a yellow handkerchief coming out or something. There's the Happy Trails Chili Mix. Number 17. Alex still committed to that bottom line. You see these other cars kind of working different grooves a little bit just to maybe get some clean air to the nose so that it can stay wide open through the corner. Want to take a quick minute to wish everyone, especially dads watching, a happy Father's Day. Hopefully tomorrow you guys have a fantastic day. As it's the one day that the dads get, that's their day to celebrate. Of course, 99.99999% of dads, including myself, were, no matter what day it is, it's, about your families and stuff like that. So just go enjoy your day, and hopefully it's the best. Unfortunately for me, I think it's going to be raining all day, but we'll still make the fun of it. And of course, I got a 2-year-old daughter who is awesome, and just watching her grow so quickly and things, and I can't wait to spend a day with her tomorrow and figure out what we're going to do. Who knows? Might end up watching Disney movies all day or something. I'm totally fine with that. So, but no broadcast tomorrow for Captain TV, and then we'll be back on Monday as I do continue to heal my mouth a little bit from the wisdom teeth surgery that I had on Tuesday. And we'll come back with TI Racing Truck Series from, I don't even know, to be honest with you. Sorry, I don't remember. It's one of those things where I keep telling myself, it's like, dude, just get a notebook or something and write it down. But the problem is when I think about that, it just leaves my head and I don't think about it again. Las Vegas, that's the answer to the question for Monday. So Van de Sande, half-second lead over Sudik. You got Gavin Sanders third, Julian Alton and Shane Coogan, your top 5. Now, of course, each and every week on Thursday and Fridays, the series hosts practice sessions for their drivers. Oscar Frederickson was fastest in practice yesterday. And VOR also has a stock car series. They ran a Next Gen Cup series that actually just finished up on Thursday, I believe it was, with Nick DeGroot winning that championship over there. Congratulations to him and the factory-backed motorsports team with the 2 wins for Nick. Of course, that Pocono race, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, that was won by Alex Van de Sande. So Alex looking to maybe go back-to-back here in the Triple Crown. As I mentioned, he led 43 laps in that race. That's all 13 lead changes and 5 cautions. But the question, can Alex go back-to-back here on the 2.5-mile ovals? I know he's got a lot of drivers here, especially 2 behind him, who are hungry for a first career victory. You got Julian Alton, who's had a terrible season. He got the 1 win at Phoenix. Other than that, it has been just terrible for him. Shane Coogan, who feels he should have won Phoenix and unfortunately didn't get to. Speaking of Shane Coogan, there you see Oscar Frederickson, the 3rd of the VOR cars up here in the top 6. Oscar started all the way back in 9th as he runs right now. Only one caution so far in this race, opening lap. Spent the trying to practice the name, and I think I got it right, but unfortunately the first caution was Bushy Stay Up Pravda, I believe is how it's pronounced. In the 46 making their debut tonight, and unfortunately lap 1, turn 1, some kind of iRacing glitch or some kind of glitch happened and went to the wall. That has been it so far. Up here to the lead as it is getting tighter and tighter. This is what the spotters actually get to see on this track and how tough it is to spot. I mean, there is not many places, if any, especially when in the grandstands, that you can see the whole entire Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is a huge facility, and you almost have to sit on the pagoda to get any kind of view. Down the back straightaway into the north section of the track. One of the coolest stories I always get to share every time we have a race here at Indianapolis is the story about the high school. Of course, the high school is right over here just to the, let me make sure I do my directions right here, north and west of the Speedway. It is, of course, Speedway High School, home of the Lugnuts. How awesome is that? So 37 laps to go in a C-Squared Racing 300. Looking at pit strategy now. So I think here in the next 4 laps, if you see cars coming to pit road, their strategy opens up for them to go to the finish and to the checkered flag. You know, the field's so spread out now. Unfortunately, you're looking at probably only about 4 or 5 cars that might be able to come to pit. Or is it the spark plugs? Did I get it wrong? I thought it was the lug nuts. Where did I get? I'm sorry. It is the spark plugs. Thank you, Joel. I just remember driving past that high school every time I'd go to Indianapolis because we always parked over near like the Coke lot. That was until somebody kind of got shot there, I think it was a couple years ago. Of course, Indiana basketball state. I think of some of the cool high school names when I was doing some stuff for high school sports in that area up in the Kokomo area. Did a lot of traveling around with them, and went down to let's see, where all did I go? Anderson, of course, the old gym there that has slipped my mind off the top of my head. The historic one, they don't play there anymore. Is it Wigwam? I think it's called. I got to see that. That was cool. Of course, the now I'm losing the name of that town in my head. They always played in the North Central Conference there, which apparently is a pretty big-time conference, I learned. I can't believe I'm kind of going lost in my head here a little bit, thinking about that other city. Of course, the High School Basketball Hall of Fame in Indiana is there. I'm like picturing the arena. I was there once. The biggest At least at the time, it was the biggest high school arena in all of America, but it has slipped my head. Knew something. But anyways, being able to go there to Marion, watch basketball there, and all that good stuff. And, of course, I went to Frankfurt the one day. Frankfurt to the southeast of Lafayette. When I lived over there, we'll go over to Frankfurt, and I walk in one of their basketball games, and lo and behold, we have the Frankfurt hot dogs. That is a true story. Yeah, last checked it was 8 of 10. I don't know if that's still the case. I know I did some public address announcing at Lafayette Jefferson High School, which is, I think, up there in the top 10. Did some stuff at Kokomo, obviously, which that one I believe is number 8 on the list. So Sadiq right here in the second position, trying to hold off Gavin Sanders. Is tonight Gavin's night to go to victory lane? As here we go. Final round of stops. A.J. Musselman, the first one in once again in the 54 car. And there he goes. 9.5 for AJ. So he should be at about that number where most, if not all, these leaders are going to want to get to pit road. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, here's actually, let me back up on what I was going to say. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see all these guys pit together. But then I think about the quote I always hear and think of. If you follow the leader to pit road, guess what you're going to do? You're going to follow the leader back out of pit road, and you're going to follow the leader to the checkered flag. So you got to think of something here that you need to do as you're seeing a 2-second difference now as Alex has really stretched it out now on Sadiq. And Sadiq has been passed by Gavin Sanders for second here. Oh, that's awesome. Sadiq to pit road. So I probably have passed like where you live every time I went to Indianapolis when I lived up there. Everybody charging, what, $5, $10 usually to park in their yard. I'm like, that's kind of awkward. Sadiq, Julian Alton on pit road. Sadiq overshot his pit stall and Tamanashu's getting in. Oh, tough break for the 87. That is going to hurt his chances here. He's going to need some help now as you see how much it hurts him. Julian Alton is going to blow him away now. A 5-second separation just on pit stops. As Alex Van de Sande, Gavin Sanders, Coogan, and Frederickson, Morris all to pit road. Isaac Morris, Matt Houston all in. 28 to go. Newcastle. That's the school I'm thinking of. Newcastle. Of course, they have the Newcastle Fieldhouse, which at the time, I think it fields, I don't know if it's still the case, it was up to, right? Newcastle, is that the one that has the basketball arena? Yes. Seats like 10,000 people. Looks like a college arena. I went in there the first time. I was like, "Whoa, this is impressive." Had a track up on the top part. So Dakota DeMay and Antonio Estrada to pit road. I remember standing down at the floor on the floor of the court, and I'm looking around. I'm like, how can a high school kid not be like intimidated playing in this place? So 4 tires and fuel for all these guys, and there they go, pulling away. Gary Godso on pit road back there in the 3. So right now, Thomas Geisler leads. And I think angrily, maybe? I can't speak. But Nicholas Sudik just ran the fastest lap of the race. He's got a 7.9 second lead over Ty Richter, and then it's back to Alex Van de Sant, who is running away and on his way potentially to back-to-back Indy 300 victories. As here comes Geisler to pit road. He about ran over the 39 at James Watson. There they go. Ty Richter going to take the lead now, as he is the last to make his last round of pit stops here out of all the leaders. Drives it pretty deep, and there's the cones. You got to be 60 mile an hour right there. Watching cars come off of pit road here, trying to cycle back up. People trying to draft off these other cars, get any kind of run they can on their opponents as they catch them. That is going to hand the lead to Alex Van de Sant, who's going to have about a 2-second lead over Gavin Sanders. Once again, here's Gavin in second. I immediately think of Road America just a few weeks ago when he was leading the race on the final lap and loses the lead to Isaac Morris, and then unfortunately finishes second to Isaac. You know, I think I've said it every broadcast. Gavin's only win came at an exhibition race at Road America, but he has showed each and every week he can compete for the win. Shane Coogan now up to the 3rd position, with Julian Altona now 4th, and there's Oscar Frederickson 5th. And, well, looky here. Look who is P6, Isaac Morris, after starting dead last with an EOL penalty. He has worked his way to 6th. Might not win this race, but he has got a chance still to get on the podium if he can work his way up to these other cars. Thomas Geisler, the first lap under 41 seconds, 40.96. $22 laps to go. You see here, this is we got 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and so I mentioned 7th place. There is Nicholas Sadiq. Unfortunately, lost all that track position with the mistake on pit road. He's fallen from 2nd all the way back to 7th, and could lose that to Dakota DeMay here. As Dakota tries to work this draft, he is right on the gearbox of that 87 car. Now, I thought about another Indiana high school nickname. This one I kind of don't get, and I didn't really do the research on it much. But the Logansport Berries. And I believe their mascot is like a chicken or something like that, if I remember correctly. And I was just like, I don't get what goes with what here. So these 6 cars underneath a blanket going for the battle. Who's going to get that last spot on the podium here? As Shane Coogan holds on. He's got the, I guess if we're going to call it clean air, the cleanest of air. And you see Julian doing what Julian does. Not only have I seen him do this in stock car races, but he's doing it here too, and that's get up there in that high groove. Trying to carry the run off the corner down the straightaway. Watching the times up front there. Alex Van de Sand still running about the same lap times as Julian pops out there on Coogan, not able to make the move yet. Isaac under attack from Sudik. Isaac had to kind of work the throttle there just a little bit. And you see Julian making the move on Coogan. This is for third, and he's going to make the pass. Top 2 teams in the championship for this Velocity Online Racing Series right here, 3rd, 4th, 5th. The Raceverse with Sunset Arctic Games and, of course, the VOR blue team. Here's AJ Musselman, the 10th position, been the first one to pit all night. Unfortunately, really hasn't had the momentum from those stops to gain some positions. But still having a great run here. Antonio Estrada in the 11th position. As I mentioned, Matt Houston back here in 12th. Ty Richter here in the 13th position. Gary Godso, I'm sure he's not going to be a happy camper, sitting back here in 14th right now. Just minding his own business. Who knows, maybe singing a song to himself. Entirely possible. Christian Allegio in the 81 car. See if I can get a good view of this, but of course, probably the best way I could do so here. I believe this is, I want to make sure I'm seeing this right before I, like the Juneteenth, I believe it is, he's running. Yep, Juneteenth Freedom Day paint scheme, of course, that was just signed into play. Was it yesterday? Was made Juneteenth Day, or maybe it was today. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I don't get to see the news much, so forgive me. I think it actually was today as I think about it. There's the 81, cool looking paint scheme there. There is the interesting looking face of Julian Altino at Shane Coogan. Julian trying to break the draft. There's the snake breaking out. Laps to go. The lead still as Nicholas Sudik's on pit road. On scheduled stop for the pole, the gentleman that ended up moving to the pole started third technically and led some laps early, and now all of a sudden this race is really kind of unraveled for the 87. Did he not fill up the tank? He's still sitting there, so I'm not sure if something happened. But Sudik on pit road, unscheduled. He's going to be a lap down and more. But there's your leader. There's second place. And the 87 just pulling out, so unfortunately a long pit stop for Nick. I'm seeing there a 40-second pit stop. I wonder if he sped on the pit road maybe as he was trying to get in for a stop, and that's why he sat there for a minute. So potential maybe a speeding penalty there, which is going to cost him almost a second lap. Julian with the awkward moment of snaking too quickly, and because of that, he snaked right back up to the draft of the other car. Again, next Saturday night, we'll crown a champion in the series at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 167 laps, 250 miles around that racetrack. You can see a pretty good draft race, actually, with the way that track has grip and banked up. It'll be a very fun race, I think. Next Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern Time. Alex's lead starting to stretch out even more, 2.5 seconds as he comes up on the back bumper of Sudik here. This could be interesting now with Nick with newer tires. This is one of the rare times Alex has actually been in the turbulent air. And actually Nick's going to get out of the way and let Alex go by. So nice classy move there by the 87. There you see part of the golf course I talked about a little bit ago. Six laps to go. You know, as I just kind of counting in the back of my mind here, you know, I broadcast for 2 IndyCar series. Of course, these guys and then iRacing. And I have now called, this will be 5th Indianapolis race now? And we could be 5 laps away from my first actual repeat winner in those 5 races. How tough it is to get out here and win this thing. The lead at 2.2 seconds as we had 4 to go. And Sadiq back on pit road in the 87. So a rough ending to what was a great start to a night for that Taco Bell car, unfortunately for him. There's your pole sitter tonight officially. The guy that started on the CircleBDiecast.com pole award. But had an EOL from the penalty at Pocono and has come back to the 6th position. And I appreciate you guys watching us this evening here on Captain TV. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're somebody who's visited us multiple times, we appreciate you coming back and watching, and hopefully we'll see you again in the near future. And we invite you, obviously, after this race, we'll talk to the top 3, and then, of course, we'll go over to Iowa Speedway for some stock car racing coming up afterwards. As a matter of fact, that'll be, we're actually running early here because of the green flag nature of this race, so it won't be for another probably 40 minutes or so before we go on the air for that Iowa race, as we are at 2 laps to go. There's Alex coming up on the back of the 81 of Christian Alagio. And unfortunately for the 10 of Gavin Sanders back there, it is going to be another day of what might have been another second place finish, unless something weird happens to him here in the next 2.5 miles, as Alex Van de Sant coming off of turn 4. He'll see the white flag. I think he's trying to draft off of Christian a little bit here. Final lap from Indianapolis. Down the back straight away. What a time period it has been for Alex. Yes, we've had a couple weeks of a break. But Alex Van de Sant a couple weeks ago went to victory lane in Pocono. And then a season ago went to victory lane here at Indianapolis. As he comes off of turn 4, coming to the checkered flag. He is now a 2-time winner of the Indianapolis 300. Alex Van de Sant, back-to-back wins. Sanders going to get 2nd. Julian Altena 3rd. Shane Coogan and Oscar Frederickson. And of course, C-Squared 300. C-Squared Racing 300. We're sponsoring the race tonight. Appreciate them being a part of the broadcast. A great effort by the VOR team, by the way. 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Van de Sant celebrating with some donuts. Very nice donuts there, too, oh, by the way. Take a look at the race results from the Brickyard. Alex Van de Sant, as I mentioned, the winner of the race, 2.3 seconds in the end over Bernie Sanders. Julian Alton a third, Shane Coogan, and Oscar Frederickson finishing in the top 5 tonight. Isaac Morse comes back to 6th. Dakota DeMay finishes 7th. Thomas Geisler 8th. Antonio Estrada, great run in 9th. And how about Matt Houston? At least he gets back to the top 10. Not sure if he'd be happy with the top 10, but at least he fought back to that finish. A.J. Musselman 11th. Ty Richter 12th. Gary Godso 13th. Christian Alagio 14th. And James Watson 15th. Bart Feuerstein in the 16th position. Not sure if I'm getting his name right, and I'm sorry if I'm not. Nicholas Sadiq 17th in the end. Very disappointed for him. Jose Miguel Phillips Viguera going to finish in the 17th position. And last but certainly not least, the 18th going to be Pushestea Pravda in the 19th position in the 46th car. As we will go celebrate with the driver, of course, out of Zionsville, as I mentioned, Purdue student, and going to be a very, very happy camper and a very nice young man to talk to each and every time I get to. And one day, I promise, I will actually purchase his relative, I believe it's his uncle if I remember correctly, is Tom Hoover's world-class chili mix. Just make sure everything's all set up interview-wise because I hate screwing it up. And let's get him down here with us as the winner once again. Alex Van de Sant, second straight 300-mile win here in Indianapolis. C-Squared Racing, Indy 300. Not to mention back-to-back wins, though it feels like it's been a year apart from Pocono to now. But congratulations to you as you have dominated the second half of this race and got yourself another Indy win.
No, it was an awesome race. Fuel strategy worked out. I knew what I needed to hit. Knew I needed to hit 30 laps for the second to last stint, and then I could just go flat out, not worry about Gavin catching me, and just executed on the pit stops. Was able to build those gaps, and we just couldn't catch up.
I was going to mention you definitely nailed the intro and outro, as I'll speak radio terms, I guess, of pit road, getting onto and coming off of pit road each and every time you came in there. It seemed like you were gaining. Either it was positions or time through the race in the end there. Talk about how big that was.
It's huge. I don't know what happened to Nick in that last stop. I need to check the replay, but building that gap to Gavin, I think a lot of it is on pit entry and just braking it. Like knowing where I can brake. If I can build that 2-second gap, then there's no way they're gonna be able to catch me.
Right.
Unless there's lap traffic. But yeah.
That is such a big thing, and I know you mentioned Nick. It looked like he had some issues with getting into his pit stall there. That's what hurt him when it was all said and done. But man, back-to-back weeks, you get yourself a victory, and you're getting yourself closer now. It's becoming a 3-car fight for the finish as you come to Las Vegas next week for the final race of the championship. Talk about that momentum, because this is just carrying you right into this mile-and-a-half race that is going to decide it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if it's a night or a day race. If it's a day race, then I think that can be really great. Night race is going to be a lot harder because we'll be so much closer. But I needed Gavin to not finish second, but hopefully it gets me that much closer, and I can carry that momentum into the last race, and it's going to be really, really close.
Well, great job tonight, Alex. Congratulations again. You're the first time in, I think, 5 Indy broadcasts I've done now for both the IndyCar series that is actually won multiple times. So I'll give you that, too. So congratulations on that, and shout out to whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, thanks. Always, big thanks to Team LMCgear.com and Jim, Craig, and Cohen weren't able to make it tonight for personal stuff, but they've been they've had really strong seasons themselves, and yeah, big thanks to them, as well as Happy Trails Chili Company.
Absolutely. Make sure you go check them out on Amazon, right? They're still on Amazon, correct?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make sure. Very good. Well, nice job, Alex. Congratulations, man. Go celebrate another win.
Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. You too. As Alex Van der Sant goes to victory lane here in Indianapolis, his second straight 300-mile win. Let's bring down Uncle Bernie, as I like to call him, or Gavin Sanders, going to finish in the second position. And I don't know what it is. I know why you name him Bernie and stuff like that. But if you ever look at him when he's on there doing his stuff, it's like, okay, he looks like Uncle Bernie to me. But anyways, man, I don't know where to go without touching a subject that has been talked about probably in your case way too long. Another second place finish for you. I know it's one that you, at least in this case, you finished second straight up. You couldn't catch Alex, it looks like, in this case. What more did you need?
More fuel. I think we were all in need of more fuel, but to at least get to the end, honestly, after last week was definite relief, something I'm happy and proud with. So, yeah, not as bad as last week. I'm at least glad that it didn't play out that way, but to hold the lead in the championship going in the last round feels pretty good. And I guess we'll see, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not super confident, but we'll see.
Well, I'm just thankful. You just kind of reminded me it is a third straight second place finish now as I think about this. And the first one where you didn't get passed on the last lap. So that, I guess there's a positive there, because that's almost like a that's almost like taking the old hitch to the shin when you're walking past the truck. When that happens, it's like the equivalent, or to the knee, I guess. Let's be honest. But still, though, points-wise, I mean, you're up here with no wins. I mean, but you're still leading the points.
Yeah, got that. Who's the NASCAR driver? Was it Carl Edwards or somebody? I don't remember. Some guy.
Well, there's a couple. I mean,
there's a couple of them. I'm pulling one of those moves right now. Just no wins. Technically most consistent. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Hope for the best. I have a real life race next week, so I don't even know right now how great my quality of sim will be if I do end up doing this race. But yeah, I'm sure you'll see that in the VOR announcements.
Interesting. Well, and I think about it now as you brought it up. Matt Kenseth, 2003, won with one win. Terry Labonte in 1996 won with one win, and then of course I think it was Austin Dillon in the Xfinity Series 2015, won with 0 wins in the championship.
My gosh.
So yeah, so it is possible to be done.
It is possible.
It is possible.
Definitely.
But still, it's good to see the positive spirit out of you from it and things. But send shouts whoever you like to, bud.
Big shout out to Team VOR. It was a great team night tonight. We kind of worked together and did really well. Big shout out to Fat Bastard Burrito, of course, Braden Motorsport, Alpine Stars, Stilo. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without these guys. And looking forward to next week for sure.
And side note, who was Julian yelling at about ruining the photo?
Oh, it's Ty. Ty had his weight jacker up too high. Just absolutely clogged all of us. Yeah, that was unfortunate for sure.
Well, way to go tonight and finishing second, and go celebrate, bud.
Thanks. I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Be safe. Gavin, a.k.a. Bernie Sanders. He was definitely not sitting on the job tonight when it was over with. As we get Julian into the room here. Of course, Julian, a third-place finish for him, which I'm sure he's seeing some relief about because he has had all types of terrible luck this season. But, Julian, congratulations to you and a great third-place run for you. Your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, man. It was a great race. Finally, some luck on my side. Had a tough season, like you said, but finally got another podium. Of course, had the win at Phoenix, which was the only kind of highlight of the season. But tonight, I think Gavin mentioned it in his interview just a second ago too. Just awesome teamwork as well. Really working together well as a team. So that's how we got the good results. Gavin P2, myself P3, and Oscar P5, I believe. Gary had some issues with his stomach there in the race. It didn't feel too great, but still got a decent finish out of it, I guess. So yeah, overall really good team night. Yeah, just really happy with the performance tonight by all the guys.
Let's talk about that second to last pit stop. You and Gavin were about 2.5 seconds or so back from Alex, and also at the time it was Nicholas Sudik was up there. And you guys had some kind of strategy to where all of a sudden you came out within a second of those two. What did you guys do different on that to gain so much time on that stop?
If I remember this correctly, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe I do know which one you're talking about. So Gavin decided that because there was a little bit of lap traffic ahead, I believe, and Gavin decided, oh, well, let's just pit now. And Gavin called it out really late on the team chat, and I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that. So I just followed him in because I didn't know what else to do. I kind of panicked in that moment. So I just followed Gavin into the pits, and we came out right behind them. But Dirty Air was really difficult for me to hang on to because I was the fourth car in line for a big part of the race. And I couldn't really keep up with the guys, so I had to save some fuel in the end because I couldn't even keep up in map 1. But to go back to the strategy, there was really a late call by Gavin there, so I just followed him in.
And then side note, how much was that Highline working for you with trying to get clean air? Because obviously you were trying to get that car out in some kind of air to get grip and not have to get out of the gas. How much was that helping you?
Yeah, so my button was creased tight really a lot because it was really squeezed tight there because every time I was in the dirty air, my car just slid straight towards the wall, and I was so scared that I would go into the wall. So at some point during the race, really early on, I was like, okay, well, it might be a little too big of a risk, so I'm just going to go higher, try to get the clean air on the wing. And it paid off in the end there as well. Even early on in the race, when I started doing it, everybody else was like, oh, it seems to be working. So they've all moved high. And a few moments in the race, I moved back low again, but it was just overall really scary running there for me. But yeah, I was able to get some good moves early on in the race as well. I was able to get the Kota, I believe, down the front stretch and get that move on him, which set me up for the rest of the race. So yeah, that was it.
So for league members wondering, it's going to be somewhere between the 1 minute 45 and 2 hour mark of the stream. There's a soundbite there from Julian that you guys can save for the future. But anyways, congratulations, Julian, and send shout out to whoever you like to.
So obviously the teammates, Gavin, Oscar, and Gary, and also the guys over at 5150, Isaac, Antonio, Robert, and Tyler. A few of them weren't able to make the race tonight, unfortunately, but yeah, we all work together as two teams, really. We kind of act as one team, so it's a pleasure working with them. All the logos on the car, mostly Gavin sponsors, but you know, it's fine. I want to thank them as well for sponsoring him and also supporting us in what we do. I want to thank Matt Houston with Race First for sponsoring the league, and also Isaac for being next season's title sponsor of the league, and also you, of course, for broadcasting.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your top 3, and congrats to your team. Go celebrate, and we'll see you next week in Vegas.
Yes, thank you, man. See ya.
Absolutely. Julian Alton, a third place finish in tonight's race. So we're going to head out and go get ready for the broadcast tonight from Iowa Speedway for the Sunset Arctic Games USRC Grand National Series. So we'll be back for that here in about 20 minutes or so. We'll get ready to go live for that. So appreciate everybody's time and appreciate everybody watching. And congratulations to Alex Van de Sant on another victory at Indianapolis. His second straight 300-mile win here at the world's the greatest spectacle in racing. And of course, big shout out to C Squared Racing for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. As always, thanks to Race First for sponsoring the series. Thanks to iRacing for allowing us to broadcast on their platform, as always. So with that said, enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Happy Father's Day to all dads. And this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!